Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, January 19. On this date in 1991, the WWF held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Hulk Hogan won the 30-man over-the-top rope Royal Rumble match. On this date in 1997, the World Wrestling Federation held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Shawn Michaels defeated Psycho Sid to win the WWF Championship. On this date in 2003, WWE held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Brock Lesnar won the 30-man Royal Rumble match. On this date in 1992, the World Wrestling Federation held its Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event, Ric Flair wins the 30-man over-the-top rope Royal Rumble match, winning the vacant World Wrestling Federation Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, Royal Rumble history, January 19. Amazing how January 19th seems to be the optimum day for Royal Rumbles. In the 25 that they've had so far in the past, 4 of them happen to fall on this date. Rather interesting. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, and a little tidbit looking back on the various Royal Rumbles, and we're going to talk a lot more about them next week on the eve of this year's Royal Rumble, looking back at some of the great moments from the past. That's kind of what I want to throw out to you. What are your favorite Royal Rumble moments? It could be a match. It could be a certain elimination. I've got a few in mind, and I'll delve those out next week. But wanting to know your favorite Royal Rumble moments, whether it's matches, whether it's something from the Royal Rumble match, we'll kick that around next week, along with looking to this year's Royal Rumble. But looking back at the 92 Rumble, for years, WWE apparently tweaked or edited the 92 Rumble reaction when Hulk Hogan was eliminated. He was one of the last 3. It was Sid, Justice, Hulk Hogan, and Ric Flair. And when Sid eliminated Hogan, in the original broadcast, the crowd was, excited by Hogan's elimination, which was kind of surprising because back then he was still, the yellow and red, the training and prayers and vitamins and all that. But by that point, he had grown a little stale with that. We had been hearing the same message for the past 8 years. And before they released it to Coliseum home video at the time, they actually dubbed over the crowd reaction to have it as more of a negative reaction for Hogan being eliminated, and even had Gorilla Monsoon re-record his voiceover, basically chastising Sid for throwing Hogan out from behind, which many wrestlers have done in a Royal Rumble, and Hogan even did on previous occasions to Savage, for example, in 89, as the Mega Powers were unraveling, just as one example. I know there are a couple of others, but it made Hogan, I hate to say it, made Hogan look kind of like not necessarily a crybaby, but and the fact that he was pulling on Sid's arm after the fact, I don't know. I don't think that it made what they were trying to do didn't exactly work, but the fact, I actually just found out about that this week and thought it was interesting and thought I'd throw it out there to you. All right, let's take a look at some news and notes before we, we'll get old school out of the way. We'll talk with old school for a minute, and then we'll get to the news and notes. Old school, what's going on?
Not much. I want to know what's going on with Aces and Aces.
With who?
Aces and Aces on TNA.
Aces and Aces.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you mean aces and eights, but, hey.
Yeah.
You're looking for the ultimate winning hand. I understand. I see where you're going with this. Okay, or maybe not. But, no, what do you mean what's going on with them? What do you...
Yeah, well, I don't know who's the leader. Who's the main leader of Aces and Eights?
Well, we know one other member now is Taz. We found that out this past Thursday on Impact, but... the main leader, that's still a mystery. There's been a lot of speculation online, and something tells me, knowing TNA, that what people think it is going to be somebody different, because TNA is notorious for swerving people for the sake of swerving people.
They think it might have been Jeff Jarrett or something.
Well, Jeff Jarrett's name hasn't been bounced around a little bit, but I mean, just been thrown out there, a little bit. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's one of those kind of tune in, wait, see, and find out type deals. Thanks so much for the call, Old School. Certainly,
Okay, thank you.
Certainly appreciate it. At least I think I do. Anyway, some Facebook feedback coming in. Dan chiming in. Apparently his phone died. That's how we had lost him there. But he said, love the fact that TNA is reducing the pay-per-views. It makes Impact more of a big deal, which I guess makes sense because they've already used the pay-per-views to make Impact look like a bigger deal because I guess they were losing money on pay-per-views. I don't know. They never released that info, but to make 2/3 of your pay-per-views cut like that, just out of nowhere, obviously something had to go into that decision. And John from Northeast Philly chiming in. He said, Sid has only half the brain that we do. Of course, referring to that infamous promo. Was that, I think, Thunder back in 99 or 2000, something like that? Talking to Kevin Nash, saying he's twice the man that Nash is, but Nash only has, or that Sid has half the brain that Nash does, something like that. Yeah, it was an infamous Sid Udy botch. But we've all had them. Lord knows I've had them here on the show. Bob chiming in his thoughts on the Rumble leading up to WrestleMania. He thinks that The Rock is going to beat CM Punk. Lesnar or The Shield beats down Rock after the match. Ziggler then cashes in the Money in the Bank to win the WWE Championship, setting up Rock Lesnar at WrestleMania and either Cena Ziggler or Ziggler Rock and I see, Cena Ziggler or Rock and partners against The Shield. Okay, so, but then what would you do? You don't. It's WrestleMania. Usually, you want your championships, your major championships to be on the line. You don't want your champion to necessarily be in some sort of a multi-person tag match, whether it's a 6-man tag, 8-man tag, something like that. Usually you want the champion to defend the belt at your biggest pay-per-view of the year. That's the only flaw that I see in the logic with that, Bob. But it's certainly a different scenario. But yeah, I don't think they're going to go that route just because they want the WWE champion and the world champion to defend their belts at WrestleMania. Maybe Elimination Chamber. I mean, that might be another story, but I don't know. The fact that they have Elimination Chamber shoehorned in there in between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania tends to make a mess of things. At least that's what I think. You can certainly feel free to disagree, and I'll probably prove you wrong. All right, let's take a look at some news and notes. All right, so we've got a superstar hospitalized. Superstar Billy Graham was hospitalized on Thursday, according to a Canadian newspaper, quoting Graham's agent, Scott Epstein. Graham, who is 69 years old, was reportedly taken to the hospital due to double pneumonia after being sick with flu-like symptoms the past few weeks. That flu has been going around, man. Crazy stuff. The newspaper cited Graham's wife, Valerie Coleman, on Graham starting to show signs of, quote, the start of heart failure. That's not good. Graham is also hepatitis C positive, which is complicating treatment. So things not exactly going well for the former WWF champion. Also, John Cena on TMZ in a bit, try to bring things up a little bit. As WWE top star John Cena arrived in Los Angeles ahead of Friday's Raw house show at the Staples Center, TMZ cameras caught up with him signing autographs at LAX airport. The brief video features Cena questioning the authenticity of his Brawlin' Buddy stuffed doll, noting that it has the wrong eye color. Apparently, they made the doll with brown eyes, and Cena has blue eyes. TMZ's headline, because they have to sensationalize things, they take it a step further, reading, quote, John Cena, my Brawlin' Buddy has a jacked up face. So, yeah, feel free to check that out. There is video on TMZ for that one. And speaking of something that TMZ has covered quite a bit, another Hogan lawsuit. Yes, Hulk Hogan has filed a $50 million lawsuit. No, this time it has nothing to do with his sex tape, thankfully. It's against the Laser Spine Institute. Hogan claims that their procedures back in 2009 on his back caused more damage, and that's obviously led to even more surgeries, more cost of money, so he's trying to make some of that back with this $50 million lawsuit. Hogan claiming that his procedures made him feel worse, and he eventually had to undergo major back surgery. He also alleges that LSI used his name and image to promote their business without his permission. You know, because everybody's trying to make a buck off of Hulkamania, even as it's hobbling wild at 60 years old. A member of Hogan's legal team also told TMZ that the reason he is suing the Laser Institute for $50 million is because his back problems cost him a WrestleMania 25 match against John Cena. What kind of validity there is to that, I don't know, but Hogan believes that his phase-out contract being torpedoed also cost him appearance opportunities. I don't know. Would you have wanted to, I mean, granted, we're looking back like 4 years ago now, but would you have wanted to see Hogan Cena at WrestleMania 25? I mean, that would have been, 2009? Yeah, I don't know. I probably would have been better off getting Austin Cena, although Austin's health wasn't quite necessarily there. Will we see Stone Cold in the ring? And your guess is as good as mine. Also, this past Sunday's Genesis pay-per-view, that's going to be the last one in the Impact Zone for 2013. TNA informing its VIP ticket holders that this past Sunday's Genesis pay-per-view would be the only Sunday night pay-per-view held in the Impact Zone in 2013. Lockdown, Slammiversary, and Bound for Glory will be held at other venues. Lockdown has already been announced to be set for San Antonio, Texas, coming up in March. And speaking of VIP, WWE, they're joining the VIP Experience bandwagon. They have announced that it's offering VIP Experience packages for live events. Not necessarily televised, but live house show events. The packages offer meet and greets with WWE wrestlers, photos with the WWE Championship, as well as exclusive merchandise. The first VIP Experience packages will be available March 15th for Bridgeport, Connecticut. Also, the 16th in Providence, Rhode Island, and on March 17th in Binghamton, New York. They have two different packages. There's the $249 enhanced VIP package that has a center ring lower bowl seat, a snapback cap, a limited edition event poster, a VIP ticket holder, venue parking where available, crowd-free merchandise shopping, and on-site VIP concierge. And then, if you really want to live large, not quite Nation it, but something like that, the $599 Superstar package has a ringside seat, a meet and greet, one photo with the WWE Championship, an exclusive limited edition chair, as well as an exclusive snapback cap, the limited edition event poster, a commemorative VIP ticket holder, venue parking where available, and all the other stuff that was mentioned there, the crowd-free merchandise shopping area, and an on-site VIP concierge. So a lot of concerts and sporting venues are doing this, and now WWE, they're trying to get into that as well. Now, WWE and TNA, I know we've been talking for a while about a legal dispute they had. That's what kept Ric Flair off of television for a while. It has officially been resolved. TNA dropping the lawsuit that it filed against WWE. It shows up as a voluntary dismissal in court records. So, looks like if WWE wants to raid potential TNA talent that their contracts are coming up, looks like they can do so without concern of consequences, repercussions, or otherwise. Does that mean we'll see Elijah Burke back in WWE? It's a possibility. Also, TNA announcing that they will be allowing fan votes to determine which Gut Check Challenge seminar participant is most deserving of appearing on the Impact Wrestling TV show. Now, the TNA website will host a tournament-style setup starting this Monday with fan voting determining who advances. They started it off for 2013. They had auditions and tryouts at that house show here in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago. Just go to ImpactWrestling.com and look up the Gut Check Challenge for more info. And while you're there, it wouldn't hurt to vote for Steven Antolos, locally known as Steve Off. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Hey, gotta give a little bump to the friends every once in a while, you know. And some injury news. because we got a little bit of that as well. Santino Marella stating on Twitter that he tweaked his neck, but noted that he is not sure how bad. That's a direct quote. He stated he'd be undergoing an MRI exam Monday, and he hopes that it's just severe inflammation causing the pain. So who knows how long the Master of the Cobra will be on the shelf, but until that MRI happens on Monday, won't quite be sure. He had wrestled some house shows recently against Tensai, and I think that might be where he tweaked it. Also, WWE announcing that Tyson Kidd will be out of action for 6 to 8 months following knee surgery. The injury was described as ligament and meniscus tears in his right knee, as well as a fracture in his tibia plateau. It just sounds painful. Kidd also commented on WWE champion CM Punk, labeling him a workhorse in that pipe bomb promo from last week. He says, quote, "I've always considered myself a workhorse, and I've definitely used that word to describe myself over the last 2 years. I go out there and give it my all every single match, and I've been doing that for 17 years, whether in WWE or Japan or Europe or back home in Calgary's Stampede Wrestling. It's always been the same story. In a worst-case scenario, I will out-wrestle everybody on this show. Anyone that's going to out-wrestle me had better perform after me, because I'm going to outperform everybody that I saw before me." So, tough break for Tyson Kidd. Hopefully we'll see him back. Looked like he had some things going paired up with Justin Gabriel. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but a nice high-flying tag team, almost like a modern-day Rockers or something like that. Certainly wouldn't be a bad thing. Also, the Randy Orton rumor, not true. Randy Orton saying that he is not taking time off. He tweeted Friday night, "Everyone's asking me if I'm taking time off. I guess some online site said I was. Not true. Move to the next rumor on the list, people." The rumor circulated almost a week ago based on reported, quote, talk within WWE that Orton would need time off soon for a, quote, personal matter. Now, somebody who is taking a little bit of time off for a personal matter, Rey Mysterio. He's dealing with a family issue. Some people thought that he might have been suspended again for violating the wellness policy, which it would be his third violation, which would mean termination, but that would be an announcement coming down the pike. Others thought that maybe it was a setback as far as his knee, considering that his knee has been scoped and surgicalized and cut into on numerous occasions. Gosh, what is he up to? Like 6, 7, 8 now, something like that. So many I can't even keep track. But no, he's dealing with some personal issues. That's why we haven't seen Rey Mysterio. And Sin Cara, he's also recovering from an injury as well. So that's why that tag team hasn't been on TV as of late. And John always quick with a quip. He says, when Orton is suspended, it's never a rumor. Well, I didn't hear anything about a suspension, but I mean, Orton's in a similar boat. He's had a couple of wellness policy violations as well. So if he gets a third one, that's it. He's gone. And I don't know if TNA swipes him up at that point. Hard to say, but I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily that, but that's just me. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'll be back next week with it's pretty much going to be a Royal Rumble show. Going to be looking back at classic moments. Your thoughts on what your favorite moment is, we'll definitely get that going over the course of the week. And I'll have my predictions certain to go wrong for the hopefully fully filled out Royal Rumble lineup. For now, we've got 4 matches set. Hopefully there'll be at least another one thrown on there. They usually like to get 5 going, and one of those being the Royal Rumble match, which takes at least an hour, provided that it's every 2-minute intervals of the entrance to the Rumble. Of course, the 4 matches, we've got Team Hell No defending the tag titles against Rhodes Scholars, Alberto Del Rio defending the World Championship against The Big Show, CM Punk and The Rock for the WWE title, and the Royal Rumble match itself. 9 entries so far. John Cena, Sheamus, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, Antonio Cesaro, Wade Barrett, and the 3 members of 3MB, Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, and Drew McIntyre. That's it. Thanks so much to Matt Miro for spinning the dials, keeping me on the air here, answering the phones, doing all that. Stay tuned. He's got a little bit of country music coming your way. before high school basketball at 1:45. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton.